equally, there should be other financial services websites and people asking about investment advice and these sorts of things, because it's relevant, and Google's system now is much more geared around that. So yes, the other part of it, so that's the kind of backlink profile. The other part of it is about quality of content and unique content. So there's no point in writing a blog post and distributing it to 50 different sites. Every site will just drag the others down. So actually having unique content and writing good quality pieces for an audience to consume first and foremost will also get you lots of branding points for SEO. So what happens now, I'm going to use this entire thing, it's my mission for the day. So what happens now is, okay, you've got your nice piece of content, your web page, your blog post, and it's really good, and you've already got a social audience, maybe you're doing some stuff on Twitter or LinkedIn, but lots of people go, actually that's really good, so I'm going to share it. Comes a link, and someone else is going to share it. So actually the social activity is your content being good is validated by the social activity around it, rather than somebody just putting a link on a website all over the place, which is easy to game the system, which is why Google has effectively stopped valuing it. Now the other point of this is, if you write a fantastic article and your peers around you on LinkedIn or wherever else it is, if they start sharing it, well actually the real value to you is it's reaching a bigger audience. And that's the first reason to do it, because then it extends your brand, it extends your credibility, and it probably gets traffic to your website directly as well. But the second reason is that all of that activity, Google is indexing all of that and saying this is a really good piece of content because we can see all this social activity around it.
I mean, it's the educational process in an industry where there's thousands of miles to go. And if, as Mal said, you've got to take the first step. Do you take it in the right direction or in exactly the wrong direction and increase the distance you've got to travel?
Yes.
And the part of a blog, to my mind, should be educational.
Yes.
It should actually inspire people to think differently about stuff that's real in their lives.
Yes, absolutely.
And if that's what you're able to do, whether you write well or not, somebody can edit what you've done.
Yeah.
That's really valuable, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. But it's writing blog content is very much about brand, exactly. People reading those articles, creating content might also be YouTube videos as well. People actually watching a YouTube video, might be 3 or 4 minutes, it might be a small little interview, it might be a Q&A with somebody, so we might do a little interview with you and say, well, look, this is a question we've been asked, what would you say to that? And it's the same conversation, you'd be sitting in front of a client, the same questions, but it positions your brand and your expertise. That's the primary reason to do it. The secondary reason to do it is Google knows that's what you're doing, and it's behaving more like a human being now. It's trying to establish, well, what do human beings value, and how does that value manifest itself? And it's not through putting links on websites to other web pages. And Google knows that. It's more about social. So that's,
yes, I mean the value, you mentioned fives and a Richter scale, it is absolutely non-geometric. Because listening to some stuff you've done with people, we're looking at something for 3 minutes or 5 minutes when I've never got a chance to meet the person and hear the story before, and to see it's absolutely genuine, it goes right up there, and it's not, you can't measure its percentages.
That's why things like the video today, that's going to go on the blog, that will go on the newsletter. Obviously it's good for Mark because we're going to put his brand on it.
I've done my hair.
Oh, yeah. This picture before. It's great for SEO.
Who loves you, baby?
So yes, okay. So yeah, that's about the kind of content side of things. Social media fits into the branding first and foremost, and then display advertising also fits into the brand. So that could be banner advertising online alongside content that's relevant to whatever it is you're selling. And then search is AdWords or a stack of business cards on the desk. It could be in a number of different ways. And then the close or the conversion is the bottom part of that funnel, which is what your web page is for. So, great brand, poor search, poor website, really going to work. Not a very good brand, great search, not a great website, that's not going to work either. And actually the combination of these will multiply out at the end, and you'll all go hooray, because it's pretty impressive numbers. Okay, right, so what we'll do, let's just talk about specific networks. Who is on LinkedIn? LinkedIn, okay. Let's pick on Tim.
Okay.
Okay, so LinkedIn, natural conversation, rather than any paid activity. What's your experience on LinkedIn?
Natural conversation. It tends to be done it to get the shape of things out there, to get a sense of what is actually going on without lecturing and preaching. Not really to build a marketing tool or a networking opportunity, but just in case anybody who's you're meeting is saying, you know, all this sounds a bit weird, and you go, fine, well, you know, go and look at LinkedIn, you can see